All right, guys, as 2021 comes to an end, figured we'd take a moment to go back through 2021 and have the top 10 wild, crazy, awesome things that happened. It's going to be hard to break it down to just 10 items, but these are the top 10 items that happened just in this year. So to have a look, and remember that links to all these videos do exist somewhere on the channel. So if you like one of the things, go back and go look at it. But here's a nice recap of the top 10 things of 2021. All right, coming in at number 10 on the list. The Nomad Project. That project conceptualized here for a little while. So, but the first time that I ever saw the car, ever saw the shell, and the progress starting to be made was earlier this year. Went down to Dennis Taylor's shop, looked at where we are with everything, taking the concept of what will be, I believe, the most radical project that's ever been endured with a drag and drive style car. It's a culmination of so many things that I think are cool, and trying to put them all together into one project. I try to say I think that this is my final drag and drive complete build from scratch. I feel like I've said that before, but it's just a cool concept. From a screw-blown SMX on the street, on radials, running on nitromethane. Like, I mean, just cool. And seeing the talent level of Dennis and what he can do to basically even take the project to a next level. The goal with that project is still to debut that, it was this year, but the goal is next year at SEMA that we are hoping will be the debut of the project. A lot of things are held up on my part right now on getting the parts we need and settling on some different ideas and stuff that I have with it. But I mean, everything is moving along and got to keep it moving. So once I can get caught up on a couple other these things, obviously we got Sick Week, the big deal happening here in about a month. So get ahead of all that stuff so I can go back to concentrating on some of the stuff for that car. But that is number 10 on the list. All right, number 9 on the list is, at the beginning of this journey with YouTube and getting started in it, had things in my head saying, oh, this will be the coolest video ever. This will go viral. This will be so cool. Like, everybody will love this video based on what I think is cool. So obviously I've learned that what I think is cool and what somebody else thinks is cool is completely two different things, and sometimes it doesn't make any sense to me. But is what it is. Love all of you anyway. So, launching the jet skis into the ocean with a pro mod. So, street driven pro mod. But 2.0, we were down in Florida testing. My buddy Dave Schroeder at his garage down in Fort Myers had the car down there. Well, his storage garage where we had it at also had jet skis sitting there, like on a trailer. So said, you know what would be cool or epic, I think what might have been my word back then, but is to take these jet skis, let's pull them behind the car and let's go launch them in the ocean and go ride them. So we did it. We a couple guys help out with cameras so that we could have the footage and stuff of it, because to me this was going to be this video was going to break the internet. But so we did it. I still think it's freaking awesome what we did with the whole thing, because nobody's ever done that. That's real proof of a street car. That's real proof of a lot of things, and it's just a marginal video out there. So that's obviously a video you might want to go take a look at, because I think it's freaking epic. Like, I mean, we launch them there and we put them back on the trailer there and we take them back to the garage. Like, I mean, I don't know why it didn't explode and break the whole internet, because I think it's cool. So you let me know what you think. But either way, that's number 9 on my list. All right, guys, I just want to take a moment to tell you about Sick the Mag. Sick the Mag is out. The latest issue's out. So double issue as always, but if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe because we still have copies. This is issue 3 and 4. We ordered twice as many as 1 and 2, which sold out. So 3 and 4, we still have copies. So if you subscribe now, you will get issue 3 and 4. So 1 and 2, if anybody's wondering about that, that will go to reprint later next year because there's been such a demand for it. The other is Sick Week and swag for Sick Week. So that stuff is available right now on the website. Now that's going to come off of the website here shortly, the stuff that's available there. Now the stuff that's available there is not the same stuff you get if you're registered for Sick Week or Sick Ward. That stuff's all unique to that. But there is the Sick Week, Sick Ward stuff that will be coming off the website soon because all of it's got to get shipped down to Florida to be ready for the event, and it'll be sold there. Not a lot left, but there is some stuff. So if you want some Sick Week, Sick Ward stuff, or even just general Sick the Mag stuff, get over to the website, place that order. All right, number 8. So La Mullets. That was just last month? I don't know, it was just recently, but was down there for the La Mullets race. I was fortunate enough to do it last year. Freiberger and I raced together. So Steve Morris and I raced together this year at it. And it is just an absolute blast. Like Garrett, AKA Cletus, I mean, just that dude knows how to put together a show. And that part of it, just so cool because, I mean, when you're able to take a car that nobody cares what happens to, and you get to go run the piss out of it and use nitrous with it and bump into people, and I actually ended up sliding, almost taking out a telephone pole with it, or T-boning the whole car at the end of the race. But just such a cool experience, so much fun. Like when I did demo derby when I was when I was younger, 16, that was an absolute ride. And this brings me back to that feeling, to where at the end of the day, there is no responsibility for it and it's just gonna get junked anyway. So just drive the piss out of it, or drive it like you stole it. But I tend to do that with some of the other stuff, but man, this is next level because I always have to think about repairing the other stuff that I break. This, I had no thoughts about repairing it or what would have to happen to it later. All right, and we are up to number 7 on the list. So this is a video that actually you won't find on YouTube. We never actually put the video out. There was a lot of video that was shot during this time period, which also is the same time period when we came up with the idea for the magazine. It was this road trip that Luke and I were on and talked about the magazine, and actually we talked about the problem with magazines and said, well, if somebody would just, and somehow that somebody turned into us, and here we are, magazine's cranking, and whatever. I mean, just having a blast with the whole thing. But this is Coffin Burnouts with Alex Taylor. Dennis and Alex have a coffin car down at their shop in Arkansas. So Alex and I played around with doing burnouts, see who could do the best burnout in front of the shop with this coffin car. Just absolute blast, just crazy to get into. Like I mean, it really isn't built for somebody my size. It seems like, I mean, Alex fit in there much better than I did, but absolute riot. Just messed around in front of the shop with it. Doesn't have a lot of power, so you just basically had to get it going a little bit to be able to get a decent burnout with it, but put some water and some bleach down. But I mean, it was just absolute riot. That would be number 7 on the list. All right, we're all the way up to number 6. Number 6 on the list. Finnegan invited me down to his shop, and we're covering some stuff with fire system for his Cadillac project that he's working on. Obviously his jet boat's there, so he had just got the new jet drive in, so worked with him and Lukey and New Bern, and we got that back in to take it down on the lake and going for a ride in his jet boat. I have a jet boat. My jet boat is nowhere in contention with a twin turbo Hemi jet boat. So his jet boat is just off the hook and such a freaking fast. So that's all I can say about it. And the launch, I mean, I learned a lot about jet boats because I've only known mine, and nobody up here in Michigan has jet boats. Like, it's very, very sparse. So, but it got me into a thing that unfortunately now I want to build one similar to his. Obviously I want it to be faster, I want it to be cooler, I want it to be all those things, but just an absolute riot going down there on the lake with those guys. And that's where so many of you, like, I mean, you either know us from YouTube or you know us from being at the races with us or whatever, but like just everybody is out for a good time. Everybody's out to have fun. And I mean, just we're the same as all you guys are. Like, I mean, it's just all out to have fun and have a good time and play around with stuff and see what we can break, see what we can't break, and see how fast we can go. So, but absolutely a blast down there on the jump boat on the lake. Actually right by his house. I mean, it's pretty cool because you can just go there on the four-wheeler, take the boat over there and drop it into the water. So that would be number 6 on the list. All right, we're to the halfway point. Number 5 on the list. NHRA, which would also be, I think, just my second YouTube video. But like NHRA invited us down to the Gator Nationals, do exhibition runs. Camping World is their new sponsor for the NHRA as of end of last year. So thought, what more epic way to promote Camping World being a sponsor than doing a burnout behind my car, or doing a burnout with my car with a camper in tow. So NHRA okayed it, was able to go down there and work on making a full quarter-mile burnout with the car. And I would have accepted, the smoke got so thick inside the car that, I mean, you couldn't even see anything, but had my whole, what's that, the alligator? No, Joe Exotic. Had my whole Joe Exotic outfit on, like slept in the camper one of the nights, was able to go down there and do that burnout with the big American flag hanging off the back. I mean, to me, was just epic. And they showcased it a little bit on the NHRA. I just don't think it got the publicity it deserves. So another one of those things that I think is incredible and doesn't necessarily get the same amount of people watching it. And I don't know what the reason is for that, but anybody that's seen it says that's awesome, but just not as many people seen it. But that is somewhere on my YouTube channel. So go find that video and hopefully you enjoy it. But let me know if you think it's great or tell me what you don't like about it. So appreciate that. So that is number 5 on the list. All right, we are on to number 4. This is kind of one of those come around moments. So car behind me, 6 Seconds 1.0. Back then it was just called 6 Seconds because there wasn't a 2.0, so it wasn't renamed the 1. But Garrett, aka Cletus, worked for Kyle 1320 Video, shot a video in front of this car at Rocky Mountain Race Week. That video, probably would have been 2014, and from there, that launched his Cletus persona, which has developed into the crazy, cool, huge Cletus McFarland deal that goes on now. So that car started his career as Cletus. So it was only a natural fit that when the opportunity came that I invited him to be able to run that car on the drag strip to complete his full circle. So that happened earlier this year again, that he came and drove around on the street with it. We did a little bit of stuff with it, did a couple test hits with it. We were out at 131 and did multiple passes. I mean, I think he did 3 or 4. Like, we just built him up to the whole thing, just to make sure he was comfortable in the car. He's an outstanding driver. Like, I mean, obviously, I mean, look at what he does now with the drifting and with everything else. Like, I mean, just he's been behind the wheel of a lot of stuff now. I mean, that's his learning curve is, I mean, just straight up. So so that's awesome. Fully trust him in the car. But this was his first 6-second passes ever. So actually it's probably his only 6-second passes ever, because the Elko hasn't gone there. They just made some changes to it, but it should be ready to run 6s soon. But so me as a nervous, number one, never had anybody drive my car before down the track. Let him take it down the track, fully trustworthy. I'm watching. Then on his full pass, he went 652, I believe. Chutes didn't open. So then I'm like, oh, open the chutes. and he did open the chutes, and the skilled driver that he is, he was able to get it stopped and still make the turn with it, which is amazing for your first time going in the sixes with it, which maybe he was in the sixes earlier that day in it, because I think he'd coasted to a 6 because, I say because a lot, but that car will run a 6 as long as you go full to the 8th, and then you just coast out the back with hitting the brakes. It'll run a 6 almost every time. But this was a full power through the quarter mile, so it went like 652. Chutes didn't work. He was able to get stopped and turned around, saved the car, which awesome. I was more worried about him than the car, but obviously I was worried about the car too. So just I had another issue with the chutes happen on Rocky Mountain or Midwest drags with the car this year. So needless to say, it's outfitted with new chutes, a new chute setup, just to try and keep that, because couldn't really figure out why they would stick sometimes. But all right, we are all the way up to number 3 on the list. So number 3 happened during Midwest drags, and this is part of the, I mean, this happened to me multiple times, unfortunately, because I don't learn my lesson, and I still have 6 on the car in the rain. Too many times. I always say never again. Mickey Thompson has tires coming for me before sick week, so hopefully this will be the end. This will be the last time I did it in the rain, and in the future I'll actually have some truck tires on there or something with a little tread pattern on it when I ride in the rain. But with the day of video and stuff now, camera in the car, it basically captures the moment of coming around an embankment, pouring rain, and it starts to slide out. So quick deal, was able to get to recover quickly, but anybody that has driven on with slicks in the rain knows that it is worse than the iciest road you could ever be on. You literally don't have control, and on top of that, you got a trailer behind the car that helps to get everything out of shape as well. So sometimes it'll help straighten it, sometimes it just makes the whole dilemma worse. This would be my number 3 on the list, which is sliding around the corner on the off-ramp during Midwest drags. All right, we are up to number 2. When I tell you what number 2 is, it might catch you off guard because you won't understand why it's not number 1 until I tell you what number 1 is. So that's going to let you build up some suspense for number 1. But number 2 would be at the Gator Nationals in Florida, 2.0, making passes with it. This is 100% fresh car, back together, got some testing in with it, and we put it back into the fives. Like not that was an overly extravagant thing. The fact that we've been 570 with the car to get it back into the fives wasn't even on a full pass, but like we were just playing with stuff and trying to work on track setup because we're going to run exhibition runs all weekend. Well, we actually had an O-ring push out, and when that O-ring pushed out, sprayed fuel everywhere and caught the car on fire. So the car, which there's a video of it, but the NHRA safety safari saved a total loss on the car. If it was not for being at that track with them, stopping close to them, and them being able to put the fire out so quickly, the damage, and when you see the damage, and if you've watched the other videos, then you know the damage and everything that we've repaired from this. So that it's just one of those things where it could be worse. Now, I got out of the car fine, all that stuff's fine. Car, a lot of replacement. We were working on getting the car back together for drag week, and fell short by a couple weeks on it because me, my main guy, Aiden, like we all got COVID, so that slowed the progress down, that caused me not to make drag week with the car. So then we've gone and made some other refinements, other stuff that I want to do with the car. So it will be ready for sick week. It's actually done, running, driving car and everything now. It goes to get wrapped next week, but I've been burning that car to the ground. I've been in, unfortunately, I mean, it's one of those things. Like I've been in multiple fires, so I guess the experience of that allowed me to be calm in the situation. Also, initially, not realizing how bad the fire was, I guess caused me to be calm too. But either way, cars are replaceable, people aren't. and Safety Safari saved my butt, or saved the car's butt on the whole thing. And it'll debut again at Sick Week. So look for the wrap coming soon, and it'll be down Sick Week. So that is number 2. So why is that number 1? Not number 1. We'll find out in a second. All right, number 1. And number 1, why wasn't number 2 number 1? Well, let me tell you. And it's crazy because this year has just been flying by to where I feel like multiple years have surpassed during this year. But Rocky Mountain Race Week 1. Aiden graduated from high school this year, just in June. Before that, Rocky Mountain Race Week 1 is in June. So before his graduation, so as soon as he was done with school, hadn't graduated yet. Well, he officially hadn't graduated yet. He went straight down to Richie Crampton's shop down in Indiana and worked on the ship box. So him and Richie worked on that thing for weeks. He came home for a night, drove home, and then drove back the next day after attending his graduation ceremony. That's how dedicated he was to getting this car done. While I was at Midwest Drags, Steve and I, we went through Indiana, but Aiden was there with Richie at his shop working on the ship box to get it done for Rocky Mountain Race Week 1. Tight deadline for them, and whatever. They pulled it off. Well, they didn't completely pull it off because we actually had to finish the car on a hoist in Kansas at the start of the race. Because we had to leave to get there to make registration. Once we registered, then we put it on a hoist and finished some of the stuff that was still out there that needed to be done. But either way, got it done. The number 1 moment is sharing that week with him. I mean, he graduated. This is his first drag and drive event to be in the whole thing. His first time in the driver's seat going down the track. All my stuff is a little too quick for taking to the track and going down the track. And so he had never been down the track in a car. So his first time Rocky Mountain Race Week 1. So we went through all the steps for him to get his license during that, and just watching him progress through the week, teaching him a little bit about the stuff along the way, and him knowing the car inside and out. He wired the car. He did a lot of the work on the car with Richie. He's made a lot of upgrades to it now, getting it ready for Sick Week. Just as a dad, I mean, that's that moment that, like, when I tell you that, now you understand why number 2 is not number 1. But like, that's just that proud dad moment that you got a kid kind of following in your footsteps and wanting to learn all the stuff and just doing well with it and progressing and taking baby steps with it. And as you see in the stuff, if you go back and watch those videos, or if you watch them, it was very baby steps. I did not strap him into a car and give it all it's got. I took it down and shook it down for him just to make sure everything was good, and then just baby steps all week. Ended up, he didn't get into the 8s. The car will run in the 8s, but we had a dead turbo. But he ended up getting to, his fastest was like 902 or 905. So Sick Week, he'll be down in or he should be down in the 8s with it. Obviously he's a lot more comfortable with cars, put a lot of miles on the car since then. But that'd be number 1. I mean, you can't top that. You can't top that as a dad. And it also brought me into being a spectator at an event for the first time, like really a drag and drive. I mean, I guess I was spectator last year when I took the ice cream truck, but pretty comfortable position. And I mean, I had a blast just being a passenger, just going along for the ride, and just experience a lot of firsts, and being there with him getting those firsts. So that is number 1. That would be my top memory from 2021. Everything I just covered with you, all 10 of those items, and believe me, we could add 10 or 15 more, all happened in 2021. On top of that, we started a magazine in 2021. On top of that, we started this YouTube channel in 2021. Like, I mean, so many things have happened this year that I don't know how it can be topped. But the support of you guys, the support of all you, like, that is what is so cool. The feedback that I get, the comments that you guys make, like the stuff that you guys say, the insight you guys have. Like, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's pretty awesome the stuff that I can ask you guys, and then you respond to in comments and stuff that I never thought of. And I mean, 2021's just been an amazing year. I hope you enjoyed this video, and look out, 2022. Should I say it's going to be bigger yet? I mean, it starts off with Sick Week in February, so I don't know how you can get bigger than that. But on top of that, we got NMCA shootouts. We got a PDRA shootout. We're working on another sanctioning body to do a shootout with them as well. Like, I mean, it is just amazing the stuff that's happening. And it's all because of you guys. So thanks for watching, and Happy New Year.